Hello everyone, welcome to the Calico Kitten tutorial beginner version. All right, let's do a little blue underpainting, very watery, using my 12 long round, painting blue on the shadow side of the kitten with very watery tea consistency, cobalt blue, and in the background, and then I let it completely dry. So important to let this completely dry after you get this underpainting done. Then I add a second underpainting where the black fur will go, and I drop in a little bit of purple, but notice even where it's going to be a dark black cat, I keep it light as I start. In watercolor, you want to work from light to dark, so you don't want to go too dark too fast because it's really hard to lighten watercolor back up. So I just continue dropping in my underpainting colors. Yellow in the warm side of the ear. Warm is like the sun. And one ear is warm and one is cool because one is in the shadow, so that's cool, or blue like ice, and one is warm like the sun or fire because it's getting hit by the light, so it's going to be warmer. And then I use Daniel Smith Transparent Pyrrole Orange for the orange calico part, and Daniel Smith Permanent Green Light with a little ultramarine blue added for most of the eye. But remember, the values are way more important than the color. You don't have to get my exact colors. I use Holbein Opera on the nose and parts of the pink ear parts. Values do all the hard work in a painting. Color steals the glory. So you don't spin your wheels worrying about getting the perfect colors. Get your values right. For example, in my eyes, you'll notice I use values to make the eyes really beautiful by making the top third of the iris dark, the middle third of the iris medium value, the bottom third of the iris light. The values do all the hard work in the eye and in the entire painting. The color steals the glory. So I could have made those eyes with oranges and yellows or blues and purples. It wouldn't have mattered as long as I got my values right. And then as the painting progresses, I add smaller and smaller details. So you work from large shapes to small shapes and you let layers dry in between. And remember, if you want to watch this in real time and paint with me in more detail, then be sure to join one of my paid Patreon tiers, and you will then get access to not just one, but 200 tutorials. And just think how much you learned from this little 3-minute video. You will learn so much more in a full real-time start to finish tutorial with full explanation of my supplies. All right, thank you so much for joining me for this little tutorial of Phoebe the Calico Kitten. And until next time, go watercolor your world. Bye everybody.